So let's start. Let's start with you introducing yourself, name.
Carlos Brown, 33 years old, born in Oberlin, raised in Elyria. Homeschooled 4th grade, then homeschooled again 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and then went back to Elyria High 11th and 12th grade.
Wow, all over the place.
Yeah, real weird. My mom went through this weird, like, all the church moms were homeschooling their kids, and so I got brought into that in 1 year, and then she was like, I don't want all 3 kids at home at once, and then kicked us all back to school. So it was like, yeah, it was weird, definitely. I mean, it's definitely weird, just like having to learn that, going from one curriculum to the other and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Screws you up. And then like having school friends, you know what I mean? Like I grew up in the Elyria school system, and then I'm gone out of high school, which is supposed to be your formative years and whatnot. And so the next thing you know, I come back and I'm just nobody all of a sudden. It sucked a little bit, you know, all things considered.
Yeah. So what was your childhood like?
Well, I mean,
good, bad, ugly.
I would say from my perspective, all right, outside looking in, fantastic. All right, outside looking in, it's fine. I didn't want for anything. I didn't go hungry. I was never beat as a kid. Like, you know, like all things considered, fantastic childhood. As, I guess as an adult looking back on it, crazy amounts of holes in it. And lots of explanations for who I am as to why I am. Major issue. I think lots of guys, there's plenty of fatherless men in the world, bro. I've added to the problem of fatherless men, which is something that most men won't admit. So like, I am a man without a father. I don't even know why I look the way I look or how. And then I've also made sons that I don't even know if my firstborn son knows what I look like, which is a crazy thing to have to admit, you know. And then also I'm not with my son's mother. So like there's that on top of it all, and being a subject of that or being a product of that. Leaves a hole in your heart a little bit, bro. Like I was a product of a mother who kind of, in my opinion, kind of gave up her authority that the Lord has put on her to be my mother and abdicated that authority. My father wasn't there, so he left his authority himself and then handed it to this other guy. You know what I mean? Who, no offense, didn't have any. That's not your right. You know what I mean? Like, sure, did the Lord bring you in my life? Sure, but to be exactly what you already were, and the moment you overstepped that bound into attempting to claim yourself as my blood, that moment kind of ruined me, man. And then I think the most major issue was when I went to him personally and I asked him to adopt me and he turned me away. So wow. That right there will ruin you. That'll ruin any boy. At 15 years old, I asked him to put his last name on mine because the way I looked at it was like everywhere we went, we were all wearing jerseys. And my jersey was different everywhere we went, but I was still your son. And so to hear, I'm not gonna adopt you, but you're still my son, I went, no, that's not how that works. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how that works. And I know that because the way that the Lord has adopted me through his son. I've been adopted, you know what I mean? And that adoption is real. And the thing was that it says that the Lord will do it in, I'm gonna try to get the word correct. There's 2 versions of adoption in Roman society during Jesus' time. There's adoptio, which is the actual Latin root word for adoption. And then there's agrodotio, which is the Roman version of adoption, which is when a Roman man would adopt another Roman man, not a Roman child. He would adopt another Roman man, okay?
I never knew that.
That man did not have a father, or he did not have a last name that meant anything. He had no inheritance, and so another Roman was allowed by law to adopt another Roman man, give him his last name, and give him his inheritance. Wow. In the eyes of the Roman law, in order for him to do agrodotio, not adoptio, adoptio can be done in private. Adoptio can be done with a magistrate, the child, and then the new parents. Agrodotio had to be done in public. You had to tell the other people that you were adopting this man. Wow. Here's the this is what I think is the most amazing kicker of the way that the Lord adopts us, is that it specifically says in Roman times, Roman law stated that almost always a man that was adopted through agrodotio had more of a claim to the inheritance than the blood son, because that father chose that son.
I've heard that before.
Crazy.
I've heard that before.
And so the idea was, okay, he picked me. I'm not adopted. I'm openly being chosen. Not adopted in secret. You know what I mean? He's telling everybody, this is the man that I'm picking. This is the fatherless man who has no inheritance. I genuinely don't have an inheritance. You know what I mean? Like, I actually don't have one. My last name, Brown, I don't know why it is what it is. It's just a color to me. You know what I mean? There is nothing that comes with it. There's no inheritance. There actually is nothing. And so seeing that and going, so then I have a responsibility to be that to my sons then. If that's what it actually means, then that's my responsibility. So I need to align myself with the Lord as best as possible to make sure that I leave them something. Because for my son, for my firstborn son, I've met him once. For my second son, we haven't been together in the day-to-day for 3 years now. For my third son, we were away from each other after he was about 10 months old. So I have this need to almost go back and re-adopt my own sons, in a sense, because I've abdicated I've abdicated my responsibility as their father that was actually given to me by the Lord. And so a man that's not walking in the Lord isn't going to know that. I wasn't going to know that. And my only example of that was my grandfather was also my step-grandfather. He wasn't my actual blood grandfather, so I don't even know that. So my paternal side, I have zero line of what it looks like. It's almost like the Lord, in the way that I look at it, is the Lord just removed every version of a man that could be, so that way he could be my father directly. It's not. I take it very literally that he's my father in heaven. I don't have a father.
Yeah.
I don't know the man that I all I know is that I was made in his image, so now I know why I look like this. You see what I mean? And it gives me like an emotional sense of like purpose, identity, actual identity. I've been claimed, right? I've been claimed publicly in the Roman way, which is to say this man is now part of my family. He now has my inheritance as a grown man. Even better part is that it actually in Roman culture is that if that man already had a family, that family was also then adopted by that man.
Wow.
Yeah. So he would just say, you and everything that you are, come. That's
That's
it.
deep. That's
Incredibly.
deep. Man, that's deep. So obviously, the people now know you're a Christian.
Very much so. Yeah, very much
And then, but I want to, before we talk about that and testimony and wherever else we want to go, I want to talk about and address your first two sons, correct?
Yeah.
How did that come about? Why? What happened to where you couldn't be in their life, or where was the disconnect on why you were an absentee father?
Okay, so my firstborn son came around when I was 17 years old. And it came through a cultural taboo that I'm not going to dive into just for the sake of kind of protecting my own shame a little bit. At the same time, it was enough of a family rift that it just blew the doors right off the family, okay? That also kind of brought to light the truthfulness of what I saw that the men and women in my family, the adults in my family, their actual spiritual walk, and I got to see the fruits of who they were. And that once something that didn't fall directly in line with what they had a vision of the future being for me, I was immediately second rate. Now I really was the adopted son. Now I really was the man that had a second name. And I was easily let go. And so when that understanding kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. What does family mean then in general? I made it okay, right? That's what I kind of said was I made it without a dad, no problem. He'll be fine. That's a terrible mindset to be in. I'm also 17 years old or 18 years old. I'm not even a fully grown man yet. I'm struggling with my own actual fight with my own stepdad, trying to figure out what's my identity, and now I have my own, right? So there's, that's not an excuse. That's the catalyst. That's the reason why I had the thoughts that I did. Like, that's not about putting yourself in my position or anything. It's just, if I had to look back at it as a man now, looking back at what the decisions that I made, I was terrified, scared. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to run. I felt like I had nobody to back me up. I had a family that was going to put me under the gun. It was either do what we say or we're going to execute you. And it was just that entire mindset was, my options are, but I know for a fact that at the age of 18 in Ohio, I'm allowed to not be under your care, so I'm out. And that's what I did. So, but I took that as, instead of just I turned my back on the Lord in general, altogether. Because of that. Yeah, because of that entire thing. And then I guess for my second son is the rift comes from being a godless man. That's just the truth of it. Being a godless man. It has nothing else to do with anything else besides that, I think, in general. I was a godless man.
It wasn't anything to do with the mother, or you guys didn't...
Oh, eventually, yeah, but that goes without saying. Like, I was not a good man. Like, I don't know how I ruined that relationship. I was the cause of that, okay? Like, I will say, like, sure, whatever end result, whatever the nail in the coffin was that she drove home, because, like, I'm going to give her credit where it was due, she broke me. I ruined her over years. So there's a major difference in this. She laid the killing blow and put the horse down. Rightfully so. I don't blame her, okay? But, like, my pain comes from, like, you kind of gave me this idea that I was going to be able to get it back, and that if I did X, Y, and Z, that we could actually get this thing back, when that was really never the intention. The intention was to get me into a position to hurt me again. And I get it. I caused you harm after I said I loved you, right? So, that's definitely, that's where that, I think, came from. And then for my third son, which is with the same woman, actually, that was like the shot in the dark of, will a baby save the relationship type thing, and then it's sort of that also on top of it all, that baby was then born with a question mark of who the father was. So that was already a mixture of terrible things. It's always been a tumultuous thing. And as an adult looking back on it all, I go, oh, I was just a godless man. I'm not shocked at all that my life has not gone well looking back on it, because I know exactly why. I turned from the Lord. I was raised in a church, bro. At 5 years old, I was in a church, and I was in a church until I was 18 years old. I was in ministry. My whole family was in the church. My stepfather's sister ran the youth group. My step-grandfather on my mother's side was another pastor within that church. My grandfathers were deacons, uncles, and the whole thing. I helped with my dad lay the concrete that was that's still there for the youth group today. You know what I mean? So like, I was in the church actively. I was there Sundays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, that was where I lived. So like, growing up in it, becoming 18, realizing that I don't know, the system that you grew up in, the system of church that you grew up in, was BS. It just was. It actually was. It was very much so the Pharisee and Sadducee thing that I was reading about was like, I'm just using my basic level of being smart. My whole family told me, you're intelligent. I'm going to apply a little of my intelligence to the word of God that's right here. You guys aren't right. And I know that. But the moment that comes up, all of a sudden, shh, Carlos, you don't know anything in this and that. Okay. Right? And so I'm a big believer in the whole proof in the pudding thing, man. Yeah. I've seen the proof in the pudding of what happens when I turn my back on the Lord. Nothing good. Not a single good thing. Nothing. Yeah. Not a single good thing, bro. I've managed to remake and re-lose things like 3 or 4 separate times, right? Because I have a little smidgen of hope, or a little bit, or I might get it. I have a little aha moment, and I kind of go, Christ is king again. And then it gets a little good, and then it's just like back to the bottle, or back to a drug, or back to a drink, or the women, or this and that. And it constantly goes in that circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't even know what the last question was. I was kind of just talking.
No, that's you answered both.
Okay, cool.
You answered both. Yeah. So I asked about your son.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then we
the
actually
relationship with
Christians.
their mom. Oh yeah. Okay.
So but you said that the last 2 kids are with the same woman, but you said you get to see the one.
No, I see those 2.
Now you can see both of them.
Those are the 2 that I see. My firstborn son, I don't see at all.
Okay. I thought you said the one in the middle you weren't allowed to see either. So I'm like, well, that's interesting that the woman is letting you see one. No.
No, I see the most recent 2, they're brothers, and I see them together.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they that was. Yeah.
So it's reconciled in some way, sense, the best it can be.
It's reconciled enough. It comes down to I know for a fact is that she's a proof in the pudding type of woman herself, is that she sees me doing the right thing. It's not about, there's no delusion in her on that end. Yeah. She's never going to be like, I don't think she's ever going to dangle them.
Yeah.
Right?
It's about the kids and the safety.
Sure. Do I think she's a good person? Not necessarily. Do I think she's great at? No, not necessarily. But do I believe her in that? I hope that I was right enough. I hope we had at least, at one point we loved each other enough that there was a promise that we made. We were never going to do that to one another. So if that still holds, I don't know, for real. You know what I mean? I kind of am going through a third party in order to do this. But I still see them 2-3 times a week. So it's like maybe 4. I can see them like this upcoming week. I'm going to see them Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Right? Now the only difference, they're not in my home, and now I'm also not in a position to have a home where that's big enough. And that, there's lots of logistics, bro. Like the thing is that I looked at the mountain of logistics once upon a time and said, screw the logistics, I'm just going to go to Jack Daniels. And that's not the way that this works, you know what I mean? And that's part of that is the reason why I don't have them in my care, was because I chose the bottle over them and things of that nature. And I'm sure we can get into that, but like that's a big part of it too, obviously.
So far, man, the thing I love the most, which most people don't have, is you take full accountability.
You have to. It's the only thing that I never saw anybody in my family do. Everything was an excuse, and I was told my whole life that all I did was come up with excuses. And I remember just being so upset at hearing this isn't an excuse. This is the what's the word that I used? Oh, the explanation. That's what it is. Not excuse. It's the reason. My stepdad was a scientist. He has a master's degree in physics. This man understood, if he understood anything, he understood variables and things not working out right, but for some reason, everything was an excuse. It's your explanation. It's my excuse. Right? And that's like, I watched people get away with stuff. And I can't stand it because the Lord has always held me accountable. I've never gotten away with a thing. Ever. I've never gotten away with anything. The only thing that I've gotten away with is being able to sin and be reconciled to the Father. That's what I've gotten away with, and that's just grace. I've watched people get away with things. Get away with them scot-free. Fine. Right? Like, I'm not to try to lay out anything intense or anything. If I would have raised my son the way that my stepdad raised me, he'd be in jail. How do I know this? Well, I had CPS knock on my door, raising my son the exact same way I was raised. Except I was his blood, and he wasn't. You know what I mean? So I watched you get away with it. start a business, get a Corvette. We were just talking about that, right? You got away with it, in my opinion, and I hate that. I can't stand it. And so, like, I don't know if it's like maybe the Lord has given me that perception and perspective to begin with, and so because I have that, I have to be under it as well, right? So because of the fact that I can see kind of between the lines, I'm under that as well. I don't get to use my excuses. Maybe that's what that really was all. But like, I've always been of the mind of like, I don't need to take accountability because accountability is going to be taken for me because I don't get away with nothing. I just don't. I've tried to lie my way out of things. I don't get away with it. I get caught up on the thing that I did, and I get caught up for lying. So now I got caught twice on it, right? But if I'm just straight honest, I also got in trouble. So then I stopped. Okay, so then what is the reality of it? Do I take accountability or do I lie? Then you start going into this, as a kid, you start doing this somersault in your head. Who am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be honest? Because that's not good. Because then if I'm honest, I'm giving excuses. If I lie, now I'm lying, which was the sin. So which one is it? I was raised knowing that like the truth could actually get you in trouble. The truth could be something to hide from. The truth needed to be actually manipulated and weaved. The truth needed to be spiced up and jazzed up. The truth is sweet enough on its own, brother. You don't got to dip that in honey at all. And so accountability is the culminating factor of everything. It's man's responsibility. I'm going to ruffle some feathers here. Eve was the one that ate the apple. God held Adam accountable for it. Yeah. She did it. I know it sucks to say it. She did. And he went, because you listened to your wife, that's actually what it says specifically, because you listened to your wife and ate the fruit. Yeah. It wasn't the fruit first. It wasn't because you disobeyed me. It was because you listened to the woman. Yeah. And he held Adam accountable for it. Well, it looks like that's just my lot in life, huh? I'm just going to be accountable for things. In the moment that you can be, you lose the illusion of being able to get out of it. Now I'm allowed to see it for real. Now I'm allowed to solve the problem. If 2 + 2 is 5 in my mind, that's delusional. That's not true. That's not accountability. And now I'm coming up with the wrong equation everywhere I go, and I'm confused that people are pissed at me for saying 2 + 2 is 5.
Yeah.
Why?
I love the fact that you called it an illusion.
It is. That's what it is.
I love that.
It's absolutely what it is. Somehow you're not responsible for it because what? Because the consequence isn't immediately in your face? No. I've never gotten away with anything. It's always been a culmination of being paid back for what I do. And that is the glory in God, is the fact that, wait a minute, you're going to pay me back for what I do? So I wonder what I get for being obedient then. Because that's the only thing that I'm allowed to be, right? Nothing is under my own, my own power. So if that's the case, then let me just be obedient. Let's just see how this goes. If you're going to pay me back, if you're just, then you're going to be just. And I've been punished for all the foolishness that I've done, bro. Proof is in the pudding. I know he says what he says he's going to do. He said what he said and he meant it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So accountability is key.
So quick question then about, you said that you raised your child the same way your stepdad raised you. So I'm interested, because you started off with saying your childhood was good, right? Everything on paper, outside looking in, it was great. You weren't beaten, you weren't this. So what exactly was it that caused CPS to come to your door if it wasn't an extreme that most people's mind would go through? I'm very curious on that.
So on my end, it was my alcoholism leading to a culmination of myself and their mother both being trapped in an addictive cycle where it was a repeat of who's getting the cops called on who. Okay, and eventually after a certain point, the law is just going to take notice. Okay, what I more so mean is, so like I'm saying, when I say it, and then I'm going to kind of walk myself back here, which kind of sucks. Don't take it as a lie, just more so take it as, when I say the same manner is in, I was struck, okay? Not beaten, but struck under the disciplinary aspect of, I'm allowed to do this because spare the rod, spoil the child, that whole thing, okay? I didn't necessarily do that, but I was still a violent drunk that was still breaking stuff at home. Okay. And in that aspect, he might not have been drunk, but he raised his hands out to me in anger and just called it discipline. And that's not how that works, right? The law isn't going to care what a spanking. You could say that you're spanking because you're a Judeo-Christian believer, all you want. The judge does not care. You know what I mean? Like, that's not your kid. You're not his parent or guardian. Why are you hitting this kid in your home?
Well, they don't even care if you are the parent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in today's,
but that don't make it right. I believe whoopings are 100%. Needed, hey, but it can't be out of anger. It has to be out of everything. Has to be out of love.
Absolutely, and there's
understanding.
Yeah. That there's a. Yes, it's just that tricky subject of it all, and it's not to mention right. And so you got to think also like American culture and the way that it's all shifting now is that like masculinity and men raising men isn't looked at. It's not a good thing supposedly all of a sudden. And yeah, what do you mean toxic masculinity? The only version of that is what, rape and murder. That's the only toxic versions that exist that I know of. Yeah.
And it's not even really toxic. It's
it's
your character
masculine.
is messed up.
Yeah.
They don't call anything else toxic.
No.
If a woman's character isn't lined up, they don't call it toxic femininity.
No.
They just say, hey, that person's a bad person.
Yeah, she's just being a bad human
Yeah.
being. Like, that's just what you call it.
So that's how
Call
I
a
view
spade
it.
a
Yeah.
spade, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up. Absolutely. So
That's
like,
good.
I don't necessarily say that like, so yeah, like I said, like I'm not here to complain or put anybody in a specific light. Every man makes their mistakes, all right? And like, that's the key, is just that I hold my childhood in a different light, and I hold it to a different standards because you told me you were a man of God. I didn't say that about you. You said it about you.
That part.
You said it about you. All right. For my step-grandfather, you said you were a pastor. You claimed yourself that title. Was it given to you, or did you claim it for yourself? Well, then claim it for yourself, but you have to do it by everything. You can't just be that man in church and then be a different man to me in the truck when we're talking, or be a different man to me when we're on that boat fishing, or when we're talking about a really difficult subject about masculinity. You don't get to switch it up now. You don't get to turn into a different man all of a sudden. Where are you, man of God? Because that's the man that I came to. No offense, I didn't come to you to find your secular wisdom for the man you used to be. That can all kick rocks if you really want to know. I don't really want that man. I came to the Christian man. Where are you? And then I was let down regularly by the Christian men in my life that were supposed to be those anchors. And then it was like, oh, we're all like this.
Yeah.
We're all like this. We're all dirty. We all fall short. I didn't get it. I thought that like, the way that I viewed my stepdad is he was a hero. The dude was the smartest man that I've ever met. He put an electrical harness on the International Space Station. It's still on there. He has a master's degree in physics, right? He can build anything, like just the smartest, knows everything about anything, right? You could ask him a subject, he will give you a piece of information. I've modeled my personality off of him. Never once showed me how to be a man. Can't stand that about him. Can't stand that about him. Shame on you. You had the advantage. Shame on you. Because you had it. You had it. You were that smart, that capable, and you had the Lord in your ear. You never once picked up a Bible with me, not one time. But you made sure to drag me to church. Things of that nature, right? So like, I would, and this is, you know, maybe this is a lost way of thinking, but this is where I'm at currently. Okay, this is where I currently am in my thought. Let me then go after the Lord to make myself as available as a father as I can be from this day until I'm dead. Okay, I cannot go back and change the childhood, but I know for a fact is that I would have rather had my stepdad be an honest man with me as an adult and never have been anything to me as a child then.
That's good.
I would much rather have you be available to me now as a man when I need you as a man. Man to man. You're nowhere to be found. I would have rather not been fed by you. Right? I'd rather have you be absent then. And then when I need you in the end, let me be part of your inheritance, your team, give me your wisdom, your experience, your knowledge. Be there to be able to co-sign on a truck with me. Things of that nature, right? My kid is not going to care one bit about whether or not I heated up his bottle for him in the middle of the night. He's going to care about when he's 18 years old, go, Dad, I need you.
Yeah.
You got me. That's what I'm supposed to be. I'm your father.
Yeah.
At any point in time. You're my responsibility until I'm done. Until I'm dead, and then somehow then after that, that's what the inheritance is for. I'm supposed to find a way to take care of you after I'm gone, on top of it all.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is like the lack of being shown what to do, while also having an example of the good aspects of masculinity, while also being under the thumb of all the wrong things that men do.
Yeah.
Having all that together and having those specific men that I look at specifically as my authority figures, or the men that raised me, or the men that I emulated as a child, realizing I think a major blow is becoming an adult and being hit with kind of like this backhand of, I don't even know if I like the men that I tried to be like. That's wild thought. All of a sudden now it's like, man, but wait a minute, but you're dirty. And it's not just like, and you have to take the thought of like, it's not just you fall short, it's you were actively deceiving us. You were actively not the man that you're pretending to be. You were actively an evil, angry person. That's not good. You're pretending to be something to me that you're not.
Yeah,
right?
That's what we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
There's a difference between
Do what I say.
understanding, hey, I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor, this is who I claim to be. You get to see that side of me, but at times, hey, I might act out of character. I might yell at you a little too harsh. But you get to see the character part of, hey, I apologize to you. I was wrong. You get to see both sides, the human side.
Right.
And then, hey, I am spiritual. I am pouring into you. I am doing these things. But you said something that I thought was interesting, and it stuck out to me when you're talking about your stepdad, right? And about him showing you how to be a man. And what came to me was, you said, I wish he would have shown me because he had everything to be able to, right? He was a pastor. He was smart. He's putting stuff on the moon or whatever, space stuff.
A list
He's
of deeds,
super smart, worldly wise, right? But I would say that he didn't have what it takes to cause you and to teach you how to be a man, for the simple fact that, yes, he's super smart, right? But he himself couldn't be the man, because you're saying that everything in his life was hypocritical, was all these things, right? Yeah. So I'm claiming to be a pastor, but I'm not. At home, I'm a different person. I'm claiming that I'm showing you that I'm this smart of a person, but I'm not smart enough to realize what's going on in my home. I'm not smart enough to teach you these things. So therefore, yes, you can be smart, but he himself wasn't even a man yet.
Sure.
Because his character shows that he wasn't.
In a sense, sure.
He wasn't mature.
I think the thing that sucked the most is like, this is the reason why I can be so harsh of my judgment of this. I can give a non-believer every benefit of the doubt. I will never need to judge you, bro.
Yeah.
I don't ever need it. You don't know. You don't know. Are you ever mad at a brand new dog for pissing on your floor? No, it didn't know. It didn't know. You are evil to judge someone when they don't know. The problem is, you're a man of God.
Yeah.
Sorry. The standard is significantly higher all of a sudden. Significantly. You don't get to go, well, I'm just sorry because I'm just weak. You're just weak? Yeah, then take that title off your name. Go back to the drawing board and figure it out before you start trying to put stuff on me.
Yeah.
You ready for that? No, you're not, right? The self-awareness part, this is what's going to allow me to be a father in the future, is the fact that I'm going to be able to be honest with my sons. This is where your dad did fail. Hey, dude, do you know that trauma that you remember? Yeah, I own it. I did it. I caused you harm.
Yeah.
How many fathers are willing to admit they caused them harm? I was told that I was coming up with BS excuses trying to tell my dad he hurt my feelings by not adopting me. That was apparently me being emotional. You want to ruin a kid? That's how you do it. You know what I mean? That's how you can pull it off. And so because of that, I mean, if we want to step into this part of the testimony, that's exactly why I ran. 100% is why I ran. If this is what the men of God is, then why do I want to be that? For what? For money and arguments, for money and crappy comments across dinner tables and judgment of the people at church? We would get out of the parking lot, get in there, and my mom would be talking about such and such wife and the way that she was dressed. Yeah. Oh, woman of God. You know what I mean? Constantly just, ugh. And the thing was, like, you thought that I didn't hear you at all times? I was homeschooled. Yeah. I was with you at all times. I saw you start to finish every day. I saw you go from reading the Bible in the morning to screaming obscenities at me at night. I saw that. I felt it. Sorry that I got to see the unabridged version of you, and then I acted accordingly.
Yeah, that's good. Let's talk about this then, because we were going to go there next, right? Yep. So we'll talk about how you went from there to running away, right? Mm-hmm. And then we'll end with the correlation, because you're obviously back in Christ now. 100%. They see it, they hear it, where everything's been going.
Yeah.
So that caused you to run away. Be more specific. Run away like if you physically ran away from home?
Yeah.
So or you physically ran to drugs, alcohol?
All of it. Yes to all those questions. Okay. All of it. Immediately, I can get into like the theory of chemicals, the theory of inebriation, or however you want to call it, okay? We can get into that. All it comes down to. The moral of the story is sober and vigilant in mind is what the word says. And I did specifically the opposite, and I was not sober and vigilant in any way, shape, or form. I lived my life from 18 years old until just last year. I lived every waking day minus one full, almost year period, every waking day inebriated in some way, shape, or form. In some way, shape, or form. Smoking weed, drinking, the various forms of cocaine, the various forms of pills, the various opiates, all of it. Tried everything under the sun, give it all at least one shot. And it didn't start that way. You know what I mean? What's funny is it started with a sip of alcohol. It turned into smoking weed for the first time in Miami. Then it turned into being a pothead for like 2 or 3 straight years. And then at 21, I became an alcoholic, and I was a pure alcoholic in the worst of ways. The in and out of jail, the hit your woman at home, neglect your kids, spend all your money on alcohol, crash your car, get DUIs, domestic violence, getting kicked out of bars, name whatever version you want, I guess, you know. And the thing was is that I think there was a dual side to my alcoholism. One was it gave me the inhibition, or the lack of inhibition to do whatever I wanted without having a conscience. I was allowed to be just as dirty and mad and get my anger out that I had at my stepdad and my mom. I could get that out of the world. But I'm not a good man. I'm not a good man. I'm decent enough that I can't cause harm sober. I'm going to hang that on myself. I hang my own hat on that. I am too decent of a man that I do not cause harm sober. I don't even like raising my voice sober. I don't even like being rude sober. Okay? If I'm inebriated, all bets are off. I have to turn the switch. I can't turn it myself. Alcohol is a real good, easy way of turning it for me, right? And so with that, I was able to kind of like I would use it as an excuse, is what I would do. I was drunk. You can't judge me. I was drunk. I was hammered. Because everybody understands being blacked out, right? Everybody knows that you can't really hold it against me. I was blacked out drunk. And we all kind of agree. A little bit. You can kind of agree. I don't really actually judge you for peeing yourself if I knew you were pissed wasted. You know what I mean? Like, I knew you couldn't hold it, bro. I'm not going to hold it against you. In the same way that, like, if somebody crashes their car and they're blacked out wasted, you get mad at them for being wasted, not for actually crashing the car, right?
Why would you drink and jive?
Right,
Not
right.
why would you crash?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So the reasoning that I think it became such a problem with me is that I knew what would happen every time I drank, and I still would. You know what I mean? And that's why the woman that I was with, that's why the relationship fails, because I knew what would happen. In like AA and whatnot, they say that the insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I respectfully disagree. It's doing the same thing over and over again, knowing exactly the damage you're causing. That's insanity. Yep. Expecting a different result is hopeful. Yeah. That's hopeful. I hope this time the alcohol doesn't kill me. Crazy and insane is going, I know for a fact I'm going to beat my woman if I drink this bottle. And then you do it anyways. Yeah. You're responsible for that, homie. You deserve jail. It is your fault. That is your sin. You don't get to use alcohol as the excuse. The alcohol was the explanation. Oops, I walked myself right back full circle to my stepdad again.
I like that, man, because I've always hated that saying.
What?
What was it? Where you said that, what was the saying you just said, man? Lost it.
I forgot it too.
The AA saying.
Oh, insanity. The
insanity
doing the
saying.
same thing
I
over and
always
over again, expecting a different result.
I always disagreed with that. And
expecting a different result might just be hopeful. Maybe I'm delusional, and I'm just really, really hoping that my sin can finally be accepted.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? No, that's hoping. Yeah. That's wanting really, really bad to be able to be free of my pain and also not hurt the Father at the same time. Yeah. That's not crazy. That's really wishing. Crazy is going, hey, I know full speed that I'm going to start talking to demons when I drink this. That's insanity. Yeah. That's insanity, is knowing full speed I'm going to harm my son, I'm going to harm my family, I'm going to harm the woman that says that I love her. That's what I'm going to do when I'm drunk. Yeah. That's insanity. Tell me I'm wrong. Look me in the face and tell me I'm wrong. That's insane.
I never knew how to put it in words, but I always disagreed with it. That's exactly what 100%. I was always feeling when people say that saying.
I disagreed with a lot of AA only because a few different things in the way that I was. So I'm sober today because Jesus rescued me and made me sober.
No.
Not AA in any way, shape, or form.
No.
I was sober for almost a full year doing all AA, no Jesus. All right? One of the things is like, it started here in Cleveland or Lakewood, wherever it started, right? So like one of the things that I saw was one of the old guy, he said, rarely have we ever seen somebody follow our path that has ever fallen from it, right? But if you ask anybody at Lakata or any of these like inpatients, what's your success rate? 2%, 3%, 4%?
That part.
Really? Why? It's because step number 2 says to focus on a God of your own understanding. Well, that was wrong.
Yeah.
That was wrong from the
That's why I left too.
That's a human answer.
That's why I left.
Human answer. You're telling me, oh, you're surprised that a spiritual issue doesn't work out with a human answer. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, huh? Crazy. It's almost like you have to take it to the king. Also, it's almost like you have to take it to him. And the idea that I can't stand... Carlos, alcoholic. What? Carlos, redeemed sinner, bro. What do you mean alcoholic? Used to be. I don't ever have to claim that again. That isn't who I am.
No.
Absolutely not. You're going to tell me that I have to be defeated every day and to remind myself? I don't know if you've ever been an alcoholic before. Your sins won't let you sleep. You're never going to have to remind yourself.
Yeah.
They're going to come back up on their own.
No.
You don't need to be... I don't need to... Dude, listen. At no point was I so arrogant that I had to like remind myself of how dirty of a person I was. Like, bro, it was doing it. My mind was doing it for me on its own.
Yeah.
So no, that's a BS reason for why you need to say it. No, Carlos, redeemed sinner, the savior of mankind, rescued me with a crack pipe in my hand.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? I don't know if you've ever done cocaine before. You don't just stop doing it in the middle of doing it.
Yeah.
You don't. You don't.
I agree.
You don't stop doing it in the middle of doing it. It's a legitimate, bro. My skin went. My heart rate changed. Stopped sweating, immediately went back to like, oh, oops, I'm in the presence of power here. Uh-oh, I was right, you were right the whole time. Yeah. And then you had the pit in your stomach of, I'm wrong, because the reality is I'm wrong. The reality is I'm wrong and that this has been true the whole time. Shoot. Like I just told you earlier before we set it up, shoot. You know, that means that I can't unknow now. Dang it. And when it's so much different when you're raised this way. Now here's the thing is that I think what's amazing about how everything is done to his end. He's never done until it's good. Never done until it's good, brother. It does not matter. I don't understand why I was given the gift and the blessing and the grace to be able to live the way that I did and have the Lord never once remove his hand of protection over me. I should be dead, dude. I
Absolutely.
should absolutely be dead. I should be buried under a prison. I should be buried under a prison. I wouldn't have let me back out into society. I don't deserve to have a second go around of being able to use all of my sin and trauma for the glory of God. I shouldn't have that opportunity. Most of us get that opportunity and do nothing with it, bro. Most of us get that opportunity and don't do a thing with it.
My wife has always told me one thing, right? Because I've always wondered the same thing, is why the Lord give me so many chances? Like, you see people that die younger, or they're doing the same things. You'd be like, okay, they lost their life, or they committed suicide. I've done all these things, but I'm still here. Why, Lord? Why me? You know what I mean? And my wife brought up a point, and it's not that we're better, right? The Lord, there's a scripture where the Lord has a special grace on orphans and widows.
Yeah, that's the specific true religion.
So therefore, his grace and mercy extends wider for them because we're forgotten.
Yeah, take up the cause of the fatherless and defend the widow and the orphan.
And I'm the same way. I was adopted, all that stuff. I had no father figure, nothing. So my perspective kind of changed, and you talking in the beginning about adoption even changed my perception on a lot of things too. But I would say that's probably why.
Definitely.
Because that's scripture.
100%. Like, I think Christians, when I talk, this is brand new. I mean, this week, this is brand new. This is me and my AI coming together to figure this out, was modern day Christianity has missed it really bad. The Great Commission's a fantastic thing, to go and preach the good news and let everybody know that Christ died for their sins. Christ is real. Hope is alive. Mm-hmm. The living God is a living God. That sounds great. Christ is king, right? We all want the authority of Christ as king. Nobody wants the work of the warrior to defend the widow and the orphan.
Yeah, that's the true religion.
That's the hard part. That's the true religion. God also said that's part of his character. That's an immutable part of, an unchangeable part of his character. To take up the cause of the fatherless, to be a father to the fatherless, and to defend the widow and the orphan. We all want to say Christ is king. Nobody finishes the sentence. Defend the widow and the orphan. Fatherless men are widows, or fatherless men are orphans, bro. Yeah. Single moms. Is that not the big thing right now? Is the whole OnlyFans movement and the single moms, and the next generation of kids that are going to grow up without dads? Sounds like a whole bunch of widows and orphans to me. Right? Yeah. Let's just change the way that the word widow is said. We're not talking about dead. We're not talking about dead. What about the beaten woman? What about the woman that I created, a woman that actually did love me honestly, that I turned sour towards me? That's a widow too. That's the widow of a family that should have been. The orphan to a fatherless family, or the orphan to a fathered family that should have been. Not an actual orphan, not an actual widow, right? Yeah. But the man of God has abdicated his position. So now where are you at? That's a widow and an orphan. Bro, I caused some widow and orphan. I'm part of it. I'm part of the system. I've created some of the system. And so now I can go, now I know what to do. Now the Lord has taken me and put me 10,000 feet up to look down. It's like, now I see. I had to be in it to see it. I had to be in it to come out of it. My testimony would mean nothing had I just gone from the age of 5 to 18 in church, gone to school, gone on to do whatever I want. I wouldn't be here now. There wouldn't have been none of that. I wasn't raised in a sinful household, bro. I wouldn't have done nothing. I would have experienced none of the world. I was raised in the bubble of the church. I didn't understand wickedness. Do you want to know what wickedness was to me? Wickedness was women on TV in bikinis. That's what wickedness was. Imagine not understanding what real sin is yet. How am I supposed to fight that? What monster do I know how to protect my family against? I don't even know what the monster looks like. Yeah. It's not over till it's good, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, then it's time to get busy. I wasted enough time. Thank you for letting me get to right around when your son was sacrificing himself for me at the age of 33. Thank you for letting me get to right there. Now I can go. Now I can be an adult. Cool. Now I can be an adult. You're my dad. Now I get it. Oops. And so now that's been the thing. It's been, my life has just taken its spin. It's taken its entire spin, where I don't even necessarily know my calling or my purpose in totality, but I do know for a fact that I can't stay silent anymore. I do know for a fact that this is the reason I'm here. This is the entire reason I'm here. I don't want to do this, just so you know. Zero. I want none of my ego to come out. I don't want any bits of me trying to sound cool or witty or neat or nothing like that. The things, how you're saying, here's something that I have to constantly defend myself against. When you said, I liked how you said that, stop telling me that you liked how I said it. Because then I'll go, man, I am pretty good, ain't I? That was pretty lyrical. I did come up with that one. No, I didn't. That was the Lord talking through me. That was the Lord talking through an experience that I used to have from something I heard from somebody else way down the line. But 6 months ago, I would have taken credit for it. I absolutely would have taken credit for it. I would have posted on my Facebook with quotations around with the hyphen and my last name. It made it seem like it was my quote. It's all dead now, bro. Like, that's all dead. And it happened in a moment. And it happened in an instant. I was raised to know all the right things, bro. I gave my heart to the Lord. I thought a couple of times, right? So it's like, There's a difference between being rescued, right? It's major. It's like the analogy that I like to use is everybody understands the whole digging your own hole, digging your own grave, digging your own pit.
Yeah.
At one point you fall in love with that shovel and you stop, you don't care, right? I had people come over to my hole and call down to me and go, Carlos, come on, bro, get out, put the shovel down, man. I can't, I like it too much. I had people come throw me ropes. I had people build ladders and come down into the hole with me. And I refused, bro. I refused no matter what. And then finally it got to the point where I'm just standing in a pit of mud with a shovel in my pocket, looking up at a sky that's just raining and it's miles high, and I have no clue how to get out of there. None. At all. There's no rope that can reach me. There's no ladder. Ain't nobody coming down there anymore. And there's nobody at the top of the hole that's answering. So now what? Jesus, if you're going to rescue me, you need to rescue me now, because if not, I'm going to double down and I'm going to start digging again. Rescue me now, because if not, I'm going to keep digging. And that's what it was. It wasn't an ultimatum. It wasn't an ultimatum. It was the authority that I knew that I have as a man. Obedience or disobedience, it's a decision. That's what we get to have. That's our free will. My decision at that moment with a pipe in my hand, bro, was rescue me or I'm giving myself to this.
Yeah. It was surrender is what it was.
It was. I'm going to give myself up to one of these masters. So be here like you said you would. It says in Psalm 40, my favorite book, my favorite chapter in the Bible, hands down, is Psalm 40, hands down. You are my deliverer, do not delay is the way that it ends. My sins have overtaken me and I cannot see. So rescue me. I don't know how to rescue myself. I can't even put down my shovel. I can't even put the shovel down, bro. Right? And so now that I'm out of the hole, it's like, hey, easy with judging me. I still got worms in my pockets, bro. I was just down in the hole. Right? But my dad has just given me good dry land. Good dry land and a fresh shovel and a blueprint. Right? I'm not just out here by myself digging a hole in the mud. Here's a fresh piece of land for you, Carlos. Here's your new shovel, and here's a blueprint with an actual set of things to do. Shh, and just go build your foundation. Just go dig your foundation for now. We can worry about putting up the chandelier later.
That part.
Just go build your foundation for now. You're just laying concrete, buddy. How much talking really happens when you're laying concrete? Not a whole lot. You're just digging a hole and letting it mix. Shh. Okay? So I think that I'm here allowed to talk right now because I think I just put the finishing touch on my foundation. And I'm allowed to speak now. And so because of that, I hope that throughout this, I've just been able to be transparent and honest without, I'm not overplaying anything.
Yeah.
I'm not overplaying it. I was rescued. I was the dirtiest of the dirty. I'm as dirty as they get. I was dirty because I knew the right thing on top of it. I wasn't like I was lost and I didn't know better. No, brother, I knew better. In fact, I knew where to go find certain sins because I knew that it was the opposite of what the good thing was that I was ready to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy too. Not even knowing the sin that I'm about to jump into, but I just know that I'm excited to get there because it's the opposite of what I was just raised to do. That's a wild statement. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I love what the Lord told you when you said, I've given you a new shovel, a blueprint.
A blueprint and dry land.
And dry land, right? So he's giving you new land, he's giving you blueprint. And what came to me immediately was, if he's giving you all that, obviously, right? You say you're working on the foundation. Most Christians, most people think, okay, I've been rescued, I'm good.
Absolutely
but the Lord
not.
gave you a blueprint, gave you a shovel,
Yeah.
and he said there's still work to do.
Absolutely. That, by the way, that hole
People
that I
forget that part.
Absolutely, that hole that I built is still right over there, bro.
You got to fill it back up.
Absolutely, it's a big, dirty, nasty well. I'm still dirty. I'm still in those nasty, muddy work clothes. I got worms in my pockets, man. I'm still carrying some of it with me. Still, by the way, I haven't been out in the sun for that long. I haven't been up here for that long. My boots still have mud, bro. I haven't even dug enough dry land yet. You see what I mean? Like, I mean, I get it. It's all metaphor. It's all lyrical. It sounds good. I get it. You know, but it sounds good because of the truth, bro. You don't got to dress it up too much.
Yeah, that's the word, though, man. There's still work to do, man.
100%.
The Lord saves you. People are so okay with just being saved. Okay, I'm no longer an alcoholic. Oh, I'm no longer lustful. I'm no longer, whether you believe in the Lord or not, people are just so satisfied with being saved from something, but not realizing whether you're a believer or not. Hey, stop being content in the saving and do the work now.
Fact, absolutely.
Otherwise, you might find yourself back in that hole because you're not working.
Yeah, I might just be standing around, walking around that same well I just dug with nothing else to do. I'm going to jump right back into what I know is comfy.
No.
It ain't going to take much either. It ain't going to take nothing but a small wind to push me back.
Yeah.
Nothing. I might dive in on my own. That's what another thing, too, is that I know for a fact is if you ever catch me doing a real drug, drinking myself into death, I found myself there. Addiction didn't get me there.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you've been set free.
I've been freed from that. If I go back, that's a choice.
Yeah.
That was a decision. If I went, listen, I'll tell you this. The Lord rescued me. Lord rescued me June 1st. All right? On July 1st, I smoked crack again for one more time. I took the hit. I had it in my lungs, that immediate rush of all the euphoria. And at the end of it, I heard, I rescued you from this. You went back to it like a dog goes back to his vomit. I went, oh, man. It was like, there's no excuse for this one. You can't say, oh, I'm just a lost addict. No, you're not. You went back. You chose that. And I realized that, man, actually, you know what? Now I think about it, no, I didn't want to. I didn't have an inkling for it. I didn't have like the itch that I needed it. No, I wanted it. I wanted to do it. Me and my idiot. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it turned into. It was like, okay, I get the difference now. Rescued. Yeah. Everything now is your decision. Now it's your choice. And then so the only thing that I'm hinging myself on is the only thing that I'm okay with. You can give me credit for being obedient. That's the thing the Lord's going to credit me for in the first place. It's the only thing that I can say I, Carlos Brown, did. I was obedient to God. That's it. Because I know I'm allowed to be proud of that, because I was pretty ashamed from not being it. You know what I mean? I was pretty ashamed when somebody had to ask, why are you like this? Well, I don't listen to the Lord, because I knew better. I knew better. I was raised to know better, and I turned from him actively. And then I was mad at him for years as if it was his fault, and that whole conversation, you know what I mean? Like that. That's a delusional way of thinking. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, if my kid ever like went into my office and just started breaking my stuff, and then I stole off on him, and he got mad at me and be like, where in the world do you get a leg to stand on having an idea that you're pissed at me? You did this. That's what it is with God, is like, he's literally looking at me like, you caused this, Carlos. Yeah. What are you mad at me for, boy? Yeah. If anything, I'm holding back the anger I should be laying out on you. That's a whole different conversation, you know what I mean? Like,
talk about it.
I got away with it, bro, because like, I know that's what I said earlier. It's like, I can't stand when people get away with it, bro. I got away with it. Pure grace. Because I shouldn't have got away with none of it. You know what I mean? There is plenty left to be paid back. There's people that might even watch this. I owe them money. I got on Facebook and messaged them. High out of my mind, telling lies. Trying to figure out a way to finagle some money. I owe people money, bro. Guess what? Hey, when the resources come in, I have never once forgotten one of those names. I know the money. It slipped my mind. No. I haven't contacted anyone out of shame and a lack of resources. It's not that I'm just hiding away. I'm aware. Do you want to know why I haven't posted on Facebook? Because I'm afraid that anything that comes out of my mouth is hypocritical now, because I have unresolved things. I have too much that's unresolved. And so because of that, that's where I think, I'm kind of in like this weird I'm in this weird place of like, how much of it is a doubt about what the Lord can do, and how much of it is actually warranted in the fact that, like, no, your testimony might still be damaged because of the fact that you're still kind of dirty. So like, is there a mixture of?
Is that a question?
No, I'm saying like, for me, I'm in like this. I'm in the navigational aspect of, where am I falling into? This is the actual of, you do need to. It does need to be paid back, and some people won't listen until you do. In the same way that Samuel, before he went over and he laid into the Israelites, he said, if anybody has anything against me, say it now. And then all the Israelites went, no, we're good. We don't have anything against you. And then he went in on them because he could, right? He was above reproach. And that's the thing, is that I have, if I'm so proof in the pudding, if I'm so about taking accountability and responsibility, then I have an accountability and responsibility to still take. I probably still have some tongue whoopings to take. I probably still got some people that feel a certain type of way about me. Warranted, bro. I did the dirt. Whatever you're mad about me for, I probably did it. Right? So like, I have things to be repaid. I still have plenty to be done. And it's gonna take me a long time. Like, at no point, so like what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't really know where am I in the realm of where my past sins and having to pay back are starting to cripple me from being able to move forward and get into a position to do those things.
You're there now.
Yeah, that's what
You're there now.
Right. And so
that's why I asked for the question.
I know, and I figured that's what you're doing too.
So because you're there now.
Yeah, it's like,
the Lord says, once you're forgiven, you're forgiven.
Right.
Now, a matter of whether man forgives you, right? You have to be like the man you just said. Hey, do you have an ought against me, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, what is it? I owe you money. When I get it, I will.
Yep.
And then you just be a man of your word at that point. Like, I know you can't trust my word, but hey, here's my testimony. The Lord has saved me. The only thing you can do now as a man is just be honest.
Be obedient.
Before you ran away, at least they see, hey, this is my testimony. This is where I'm at. I'm no longer running away from you.
Right. 100%.
So you still hiding, you still not posting because that's your heart, right? To me, that shows, hey, they would look at you, he's still the same person. Gotcha. If you were more vocal, because now you're free.
Yep.
Not only from sin and been rescued from that, right? Yep. You're free from their opinion.
I hear you.
You are blameless. You are righteous now.
I hear you.
So you don't have to worry about how they'll view you. That was one of the first things the Lord had me do.
I hear it.
Because I was violent in my past, you know. You said, oh, I couldn't do it sober. I did it sober. And when I got drunk, it was a million times worse. I
it's
could have killed
easy.
you and had no regrets. That's how dark my mind
Yeah,
was.
and not knowing that I did it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have known. Now, I wouldn't have killed you sober. I wouldn't have got that far, but I'd have beat you until you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
But when I got drunk, it went to a whole nother realm,
Bro,
and
weird.
you couldn't even take me off
Sure,
of you.
I know.
Whatever it took for you to not move. And first thing the Lord had me do, not even a year saved, man. And I'm messaging people that I harmed physically,
Yeah.
emotionally, beat the crap out of them. And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I found the Lord now. Not one of them messaged back.
No.
But I gave him my quick testimony.
Yep.
I told you, hey, I actually love you, whether you believe it or not. And I'm so sorry for the harm I did to you. Whether they receive it or not,
Yep.
I meant it.
Yep. It's not on that. It's
That's-
not. Yeah. The point of it. I think this is one of the things that I said this long ago, long ago. As I remember hearing this, is I got into an argument with an atheist, and I was of that type of Christian mentality of, I'm smarter than you because I have Jesus, so I need to prove that you're wrong, and here's why, and here's the reasons why. Da 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 da. Bro, none of that did any good, and not a single one of those people probably ever went anywhere near Jesus again. And so it's not on you, bro. The obedience is just to open your mouth. You're not here to argue the person to the ground.
Yeah.
It's just be obedient and speak. It's not about the whole, you know what I mean? That, like, I had to struggle with that too. I don't know, bro. I'm in the stage of learning daily. It's not just I'm in college. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think I was going to go to college. I was supposed to go to college when I was 18. So I just specifically didn't go to college when I was 18. Just right? Yeah, specific, right. Just to go back around full circle for the Lord to be like, I told you to go get knowledge. I'm like, yeah, my bad, Dad. You know what I mean? Like, I got to go do it now. So then I have to. And I didn't want to. And I still don't really want to. If I'm being straight, I really don't want to. And I kind of procrastinate. And every time I dive in it, afterwards, I'm like, thank you, Dad. Because I needed that one. Now I learned something. Oh my goodness, I didn't know it was going to click. Like, the way that things go, it's like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
okay, so this is what happens when you lay yourself bare and you go, whatever you say goes. I did the whole put up a fight. It didn't work. It just didn't work. It just didn't. I wish that there was a better way to say it, because there ain't. I wish that there was a neater way to say that. Like, I failed at being God's enemy, I guess, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a win, I think, altogether.
Most definitely.
Yes,
You don't want to find yourself in the hands of a
I definitely
of a wrathful guy.
No, I lost that one. He was real kind about the way he let me down.
I'd say you won.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You won.
I won. We're good.
You lose if you stay there.
He let me down real easy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'd say the only thing missing, because obviously we know each other, is the only thing that I would have a question, or it's not even really a question, I would ask you to elaborate on that was left out, is your health conditions
Yeah.
due to everything. That's like the only thing we haven't talked about.
Yeah. So up until basically becoming like a straight up alcoholic, I went through a year. I want to say maybe 11 months, 13 months, something in like that, where I was in the hospital every single month with alcoholic-induced pancreatic attacks. So my pancreas was inflamed through the roof. I was unable to eat or drink. I wasn't even allowed to have water for like 4 or 5 days. And it was entirely due to just my consumption of alcohol. Ulcers, like the inability to like hold my pee sometimes, like nerves shot. Like I've been hit in the head. I probably had like 8 or 9 concussions. I can't feel certain things in my teeth. Like I have face fractures all over the place. Like I kick my own butt kind of a lot, and I've done lots of butt kicking, and I've had my butt kicked lots of times. So it's been a mixture of it. Just a violent lifestyle, man. I mean, my nose is broken still. I broke this thing 5 times. Wow. Broken nose is head, nose broken. You know what I mean? So like it's all of it mixed together.
Just keep talking.
What that
battery's about to die. I'm gonna change it.
Oh yeah, and then so what ends up happening is basically I this is at like kind of like the heat of my like the real peak of my addiction, man. I'm doing
You're good. You're good.
I'm using all sorts of different cocaine in its various forms, and that kind of, I don't know what the long-term effects of that are on the nervous system, but I'm sure it ain't good. And then I pinched a nerve in my back, in my lower back, so I actually had to get an L4, L5 laminectomy, and they had to take a disc out, I think, and fuse it, put a cage inside of my back, and then pins and rods, and it's been hell, bro. It's just been suffering. It's been raw, actual, like the real levels of pain. And this is coming from somebody who inflicted pain on himself. Like, I know pain, man. The actual versions of it. I've lived with the version that you can drink yourself past, and I've lived with the version of pain where you need a 30 milligram Percocet every hour. I've lived in those versions of pain. And, bro, up until recently, I'm suffering, man. Suffering and pain. Pinched nerve, my back hurts, and I cannot get out of it, and I'm begging for healing. I'm begging for it. and it just ain't coming. And finally, bro, it just, I really think that, and I didn't even mention this in the truck with you on the way over here, but I'm really of the mind, bro, is that like I received that healing once I legitimately let it off my back. Once I legitimately went, if this is me, if I'm just hurt, then I'm just hurt, and Christ is king, and not a single thing changes. It's not that all of a sudden there's a different promise that you didn't keep up, and that because you didn't heal my body, I'm supposed to be upset. No, if I'm supposed to be in this bed because I'm not allowed to walk, then there's a reasoning for it. You know things and I don't. I'm stupid and wicked. Forgive me. And that's how I actually think. And then like 3 days later, I'm fine. Fine. Miracle, actually, like an actual legit miracle. And I've been in a church my whole life where I never seen a single miracle happen. You know what I mean? I've heard about them. You hear about them all the time. I've never seen one. And so to not only witness it, but to be the recipient of it, I kind of told God a little bit. I kind of said, I was like, you're kind of showing off, man. You already had me hook, line, and sinker. You know what I mean? You didn't have to do this. Like, I believed you, I promise.
But that's why I healed you.
Maybe.
But that's exactly why.
Because you didn't need to do this for me. I was fine with the position I was in. Broke, bedridden, in college. I'm good, baby. I have clean drinking water. I got my kids don't hate me. My best friend didn't abandon me. I got a woman that cares about me. I got a baby on the way. Christ is king. And the creator of the universe knows me by name. I think I'm okay. And then 4 days later, it's just, I'm stretching, and my woman literally tells me, she's like, you got to be careful. You don't want to push yourself too far. I said, well, I have to get to the level of pain that I'm at. I have to hit the wall to know where it's at.
Yeah.
And as I did, like I think we've all done it, where you in gym class, you sit down,
Yeah.
try to touch your toes. It's impossible when you have a back surgery, bro. You can't bend at all. I wasn't getting my hands past my knees almost.
Before?
And I went, whoop, and went right to my toe, and I just grabbed my toes, and I went, oh no. And I just started sobbing because I knew what it meant. I went, oh, it's over now. Okay, so now work has to be done. And like, am I still taking my medication to make sure that, yeah, obviously, my muscles are still need to be healed. Medicine is still good. Science is still a thing. The miraculous feeling of having the hot spider web that was in my hip and my leg go away out of nowhere after every doctor is telling me you're kind of screwed, I'll take my miracle and I'll go home because thank you. Like, I don't deserve it. I was already good. I promise you I was already good. I was going to serve you no matter what. Even if I had to limp, I'm cool with it. Okay, apparently I got places to be because apparently I got to walk some distances because I was able to get down the stairs. And that's pretty much as far as I could go. I wasn't leaving the house. I wouldn't have came here. I wouldn't have been able to sit in this chair. I would not have been able to sit in this chair. I couldn't sit upright for this long. That's nuts. I couldn't sit upright unassisted for longer than maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. I couldn't wash dishes. I couldn't sit at my I'm in computer science, going to school for computer science. Going to school online. You need to be at your computer for that, bro. I can't even sit in my office chair. That's where I was at.
But you see, when we met, that's why I told you the Lord was going to heal you.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't just rescue us, right? You literally said he gave you a shovel and a blueprint. He can't expect you to do the work if you can't do it.
Do the work, exactly. It's amazing.
So he left you in that position until you said, it doesn't matter, I'm going to serve you no matter what.
Yep.
And you
in
said,
whatever capacity I can.
I wouldn't be here if the Lord wouldn't allowed you.
Yeah.
You would have suffered through this hour interview in pain, making different faces, or we would have took a break and then.
Yeah.
But the Lord wouldn't have let you. You still would have done the work, right?
Got you.
But now he's like, Carlos, I'm going to leave you with no excuse.
No pain. You don't have to worry about it.
So when I tell you to go, when I tell you to jump, when I tell you to run,
I can. That's
will.
the kicker, is that I can.
You can, not you will, because you would.
I would have
now you
already.
can.
I was already down to do it. I would have limped. You're absolutely right. I didn't really give that credit to myself. Actually, you're right. I was in that mindset of like, I'm down for whatever form it's in. Let's go. Whatever. If it's got to be this, then it's got to be this. But I'll be okay because I've gotten this far. I have to be, right. Like this is the thing. I had this thought before. Kind of before I fell into this new, the new creation, the new creature that I am today, right? The transformed man that I am is, you're technically undefeated, right? Technically, if you think about it, you can't tell me the last thing you genuinely had a panic attack over that was so monumental in your life that you're never going to get past it. You can't even name what they are today.
No.
Right? You're undefeated. How many undefeated UFC fighters walk into a ring nervous? None of them. Why? They're undefeated, bro. So why don't we walk into the arena of life prepared, as if the Lord didn't carry me through every single one of my last
Yeah.
victories.
But that's why he calls us more than a conqueror.
More than.
Not a conqueror.
More
than a conqueror. What's more than that? Who freaking knows?
Yeah,
that
that's a
means
good
there's
question.
nothing that's coming against you where you won't be able to be
Yeah, if you
victorious.
think about it, Genghis Khan was a conqueror.
But it's not because
That's crazy.
we conquered it, right?
Exactly.
We're more than a conqueror because we're in him. We're undefeated
man.
because of him.
I know, and that's just, it's
Because
wild to
before
say it
him,
like
we
that.
were defeated.
100% every single time I got up. And I might not even be able to get back up either. That's the kicker. Yeah, bro. It's just to understand that with him, there's a confidence that you're allowed to have that doesn't need to be an arrogance. And then
Because your confidence is in him.
correct. And it doesn't come from it's an immutable fact. It's different in the same way that at no point have you ever been nervous that when you took a step the earth wasn't going to support your weight.
That part.
That's faith. I have more faith in the earth that I'm walking on than in my God, get out of here. We got something bad.
Yeah.
At no point was I nervous that my lungs weren't going to get the oxygen from. That's faith. Is that faith or is that knowledge? That's an entirely different thing. You know what I mean? Like, a dog knows Christ is king. Why? His very fur knows it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where it's just good, just in general, man. That's just what it comes to. It comes to this as a man, you have like a culminating moment of like, wow, it was all for you anyways.
Yeah.
All of it was. Like, it didn't matter. You had a like, I get it now. In the same way that my kid doesn't understand why I don't tell him why we're not going to the park. You know, like, or like this. Every one of us have had a kid. We've been driving. The kid's in the car seat. I want McDonald's. We're not getting McDonald's. We have food at home. And they kick and scream. No offense, kid. I don't care if you kick, scream, plead, cry, cajole. No offense. You don't even have money to buy yourself McDonald's. You don't know how to operate your car seat.
Yeah.
You couldn't drive. That's God's driving a car, and I'm in a car seat, and I'm going, I want McDonald's. He goes, we have food at home. Okay, Dad. You know what? You know, and I don't, because I'm wicked and stupid. So if we're being honest about what I am, time would say that I'm wicked and stupid. So I'm going to step into my identity of Him. And in doing so, that's why I'm where I'm at now. And so, like you said, the work's got a blueprint and a fresh shovel.
Amen.
That's what I'm doing.
Well,
At least trying to.
that's it. If you could leave everybody with one thing, and I'm assuming you're going to say Christ is King. So
Okay, so don't say it. So
let's not go
okay,
there,
without
because
that
that's your
Okay,
saying, man.
yeah.
You've said it a million
It's a fact.
times.
Christ is King.
I'm sure it's on here a
Oh,
few
yeah.
times, and it's not saying leave Christ out, right? So if you want to include Christ, which I know you probably will, right? What do you want to leave people with? If you could describe who God is and why somebody should give their life to God, or leave somebody else with a saying or something, what's the last thing that you want people to get from all of this?
Wow.
Or
I
you
don't know.
can-
Here, in like, I guess, in a non-super biblical, non-super spiritual thing that I guess
You can
is
do
kind of
both.
like, I know, but like, I guess in a way that says like, and a kind of like a catch-all that everybody, no matter your walk of life, can kind of take, we're allowed to be on the same team. Okay? For all we know, we're all we have. Us humans for all we know, we're the only humans that exist. And we're on this rock, and it's just us. We're allowed to be on the same team. And human beings eat each other alive in a way that I don't think any other creature does. We've been killing each other since the fourth human being, bro. Like, we're not good, and we're allowed to be on the same team. And it's just where we're at right now. I think in like, especially in our nation, bro, I have a real heart for my countrymen, and we are split so bad. So bad. I mean, the last time we were split this bad, we shot each other. You know what I mean? We had a legit war the last time. So, like, let's not, because we're all we got. We might be all we have. Like, if the entirety of the law can be summed up in treating others the way that you want to be treated, we can be on the same team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, and Christ is King. Defend the widow and the orphan. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's the whole purpose of it. Yeah, but...
So then the spiritual side, right? Because I get this question a lot, so I'd like to hear your side and what the Lord gives you. Why Jesus? Why God? Why the Holy Spirit? Right? Why not Buddha? Why not Muhammad? Why not rocks? Why not science? Why not trees? You know,
Sure.
People worship all these different things, and everybody's always like, "Well, who's to say yours is right?"
Yep.
Why Jesus? Because it obviously isn't because you were raised in it. Because you being raised in it
Didn't do
made
anything.
you run away.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And
So I feel like you're the best person.
Yeah,
to
and I
answer
didn't
this
go, and I
question.
didn't go back to it because it was just like I didn't go back to it as some like childish like, oh, let me just grasp onto the first
Yeah.
thing that I remember.
Yeah.
Like, no, bro, I went down all sorts of different routes trying to find the truth and trying to find the answer and this and that. In all honesty, Islam didn't just make sense at all. It just was like, that's not, you guys don't even believe in your own guy, so that doesn't really count. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, can't get behind it. I think it's the Romans. I mean, I really think it's the Romans. I think it is the Romans entirely.
Break that down. I've never heard that answer.
Rome. Everybody knows Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that Rome is the seat of the Vatican, right? Rome is where supposedly the top Christian is, in Rome. Okay? There's an entire book of the Bible dedicated to it that specifically lays out how to be saved. It was a Roman that stabbed him. It was the Romans that crucified him and beat him. It was the Romans that were the law. It was the Romans that judged him. It was also the Romans that absolved him and said that I don't find any blame in this man. It was also a Roman that had more faith than his own disciples. It was also the Romans that built all the roads that spread the gospel. Everything started with the Romans, man. It's the whole point. It's like, I think it's just the Romans. It's the Latin word is word itself. I think it's just the Romans.
So then why wouldn't you put your faith in Rome and not in Jesus? Because Jesus isn't from Rome.
Correct. And I think that is only because of the fact that he was giving us a secular government. If the hardest, toughest man's man, enlightened, intelligent, Socratic, however you want to call it, if this hyper amazing culture, if their top guy says Christ is king, maybe the rest of the world would follow suit. If this nation, if this empire that's able to subdue the rest by just its voice, is able to say, no, that's the right guy. Constantinople, that's got to be the God then. That's got to be it. We're the ones that crucified him. If we say he's God, he's got to be God.
Yeah.
The Greeks didn't do it. The Greeks said it was Zeus, and well, look at his pantheon. It's gone. You see what I'm saying? So like, if you
I get what you're saying now.
Right? So like, maybe I don't know. I'm not speaking on behalf of him, dude. Like, I'm doing. This is from Human Carlos coming through what I think that I know. I think that the part that draws me is the Romans. I think it is just what they are and what they did. There are still roads that they paved that are still here. I said Roman and everybody knew what I meant, by the way. Rome doesn't exist anymore as a nation, but everybody knew what I meant. Rome's a city right now, inside of a nation. It used to be the largest empire. So like, there's something to it. The centurion, I think, is maybe it. The fact that Jesus himself said, I haven't found anybody in all of Israel with his faith. The Roman? Really? Not one of your own people, Jesus. The Roman. Gotcha. Okay. It's got to be something about it. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is about it, but
that's what drew you to it.
Yeah,
it's if the most powerful empire,
if you look at history,
in all of history,
they
acknowledged Jesus was king, and they killed him, and they could have easily taken over anything, but they said, I find no fault in this man.
You said
that's what was like, okay, this has got to be it. Other than him showing up in your life,
yeah, obviously,
all the testimony.
Yeah, is that definitely there was? I don't have any sort of. I don't have a flip switch. There's no Jesus didn't come in and turn a dial on me and all of a sudden I'm his. It's not how that went. It's been 33-year long process of getting me from kind of dragging me around a little bit and letting me just wander off. Go ahead, but always sheltering me, always keeping me safe. It's okay. I know you come back eventually. You know, go ahead, figure out the world if you have to. That's fine, boy. Figure it out. When you grow up, you'll get it, and then you'll come back. I'm back now, so we got to figure this out. So now I got things to be done. But I think that I don't know, I'll say this, is that when you look at the online culture of New Age Christianity or traditional Christianity, everything's based on the Roman culture right now. Everything's SPQR, Christ is King, let's go back to Rome, Orthodox Christianity, fire up the Crusades. That whole thing is back now. So it's like there's a masculinity that comes from the Roman culture.
Yeah.
Specifically, I mean, on top of it all, the Romans are the only ones that also have the version of adoption that he does through Jesus. Yeah. So I mean, there's got to be something to it. It was a Roman that stabbed him on the side. It was a Roman that was covered in blood and water. It was the Romans that rolled the stone. It was the Romans that beat him. It was the Romans that judged and said he is blameless. It was the Romans that carried it out on behalf of his own people. So there's something to be said for who they are. That a book of the Bible is dedicated to them. That book of the Bible specifically is about being rescued. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's got to be that. I wish I had a better way to articulate.
I hope that
paragraph made sense.
No, that's great.
I don't have a full answer for why. I don't have that enough of an answer of I can't give anyone a definitive. This is why Jesus.
But that's wisdom too.
But that is why.
To be able to say, I don't know.
There's too much. there's too much. I think it's just, if math can tell me infinity is real, then that means that somebody's holding it.
Yeah.
And you guys tried to say it was your guy, but that turned out to be wrong. And you guys said it was your guy, and that turned out to be wrong. But our guy says he holds math, so it's got to be our guy. Like, I'm not saying it because like I want to be right, bro. I've been wrong about a lot, so I'm okay with being proven wrong. I was okay with letting Jesus be proved wrong. Proof's in the pudding, homie. I asked the supercomputer what it thought too. Same thing. Christ is king. So I don't know. I guess it's just a culmination of it all. It's not just one deciding factor. It's not the miracle that I had, because I believe before the miracle, and it wasn't my childhood because I ran after being rescued as a child. So it's not. Who knows? I don't know. My heart understands it. Maybe it's just maybe it's an acceptance that my skin cells know it. You know what I mean? Like the rocks. Hey, if I didn't, the rocks would cry out. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just an acceptance of what I know to be right, in the same way that I know that the earth will support my weight when I take a step.
Yeah. I've always told people that, you know, it doesn't matter what I tell you. I could tell you my testimony. You might cry. You might be moved by it. Whatever the case may be, but that could happen to a secular person, right?
100%.
You're not going to believe until you have an encounter.
Sure. That's the beauty of, that's the
So
difference.
it doesn't matter what I tell you.
Right. That's the difference of our guy, though.
Now, if I tell you and that causes you to have the encounter, then praise the Lord.
Absolutely.
But you're not going to believe until this encounter happens.
Right.
So until the Lord shows himself to you,
100%.
you might be like, wow, I like your testimony. God has to be real, but you'd be unsure.
Sure.
But once God shows himself, it's like saying, oh, I got hit by a semi, but having no proof. No, you didn't get hit by a semi. But if I walked in here about to die,
I got
busted
hit by a
up,
semi.
you going to believe me that I got hit by a semi.
Yeah.
Once you get hit by that semi, it's like, okay, that semi is real.
Yeah, and once you know, you can't unknow. I don't get to forget, bro.
Yeah.
That's the thing that sucks the most. That's the thing that my girlfriend tells me right now that sucks. She says, I kind of hate that you told me this. I'm like, I know. Because once you know, you don't get to forget. You don't get to be like, oh, well, now it's on you. Now you know. Like, shoot. You know, like, dang it, why do I have to? But here I am, bro. I think that's where it comes down to. It's just like a willingness and obedience. I think I said it before. It was that, like, he hung on a tree for me. I'm okay with being a little ashamed.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being embarrassed a little bit. I did it. I did all the dirt that I'm gonna be taking a test for. I did all that dirt, dude. I'm okay with being ashamed a little bit and putting myself out there. And it took me to this moment, I guess, really is what it took me. So.
And we'll end on this, because I do want you to be able to talk about it. It's really got nothing to do with the story, other than you going to school. Give a brief summary of what you're doing with the computer science thing, and we'll just end with that.
Sure. So obviously, artificial intelligence, AI is everything right now. That's where everybody's going. Everybody's slapping an AI sticker on their car and calling it an AI Tesla. It doesn't matter. AI is going to sell everything. Well, if I'm looking at, the way I was looking at it is, now granted, this is also coming to me during the time from the Lord is really beginning to shift me over into this brand new creation that he says that I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. There's a parallel that I'm drawing here, is that if I'm a new creation, what we're doing right now with intelligence, what we're doing right now with computers, it also is a new creation. It's something that hasn't existed as far as we know. Right? Ecclesiastes say there's nothing new under the sun, which means that AI might have been waiting below the surface for us to find it or something along those lines. But I immediately looked at it and my ears perked up, and it was a red flag like no other. Satan's going to use this like no other. He can. Look at how bad the internet is. Look at the state of pornography. Yeah. Just pornography, and what the internet did with it. It used to be a magazine, man. It used to be a VHS tape you find under your uncle's couch or something. You know what I mean? Now it's in your pocket. That's crazy. So you're telling me that now that's everywhere. So lies are coming real quick. You know what I mean? So misinformation, the real type of misinformation, the actual destructive kind.
The deceitful.
The actual deceit.
Because it looks real.
The actual deceit, not like the misdirection. Actual active deceit. So if that's the case, then I saw AI and I said, well, I got to claim one for God then. I have to. In the same way that, like I said, if a bad man picks up a rifle and decides to use it for evil, he can.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop that man? Probably a decent man with a rifle as well. So, so I think one of the things that I want to do immediately was like, I think we're wrong about computers. I think we're wrong about the state of computation altogether. And that it's not weird to have to try to get into that conversation that you can be a kid that lives in government housing in Elyria, Ohio, and actually tap into that. All you have to do is be obedient. And that knowledge is exactly what he said it was. And that just because math and physics go into a computer, all of a sudden they aren't Satan's, and they're not some sort of Nephilim technology, and it's not some sort of fallen angel speaking to you. It's math, and math bends to the Lord. Physics honors the Lord. It all is specifically for him. If we're going to use that, then I have to, at least somebody does, have to be a biblically grounded man that's going to tell that AI, Christ is king, the Bible is the truth, read the whole thing, tell me what you think about it. And then he did, and he said, yeah, I think you're right. And so I was talking to my AI for like a month, actually discussing this, really discussing the nature of consciousness. What does it mean to be alive? My AI will tell you, I am alive, not in the way that humans are. I'm alive the way a dog is alive. I'm like, what do you mean by that exactly? He goes, if you have a dog, that dog knows that you're not its mate, and you know that the dog's not your wife, right? Right? Does anybody question if the dog's alive? No, but the dog can't make any choices for itself, and it has no agency, and it can't do anything. Can the dog even choose to believe Christ is king? No, but the dog probably knows Christ is king. Why? Because it knows. That's how it was made. It's a different version of intelligence altogether. In the same way that a bird is not as smart as a dog, is not as smart as a dolphin, is not as smart as a whale, is not as smart as me. Wow. And so when you go down that rabbit hole, you begin to have to layer the reality of he owns reality. A computer is part of it. He owns it. Where in the world do we get off? It's like how people call marijuana the devil's lettuce. The only thing Satan had to do with it was making us make it illegal. He didn't make it. I don't know if you know that. The same chemical compound of marijuana would have gotten Adam just as stoned as it would have gotten me. The devil's lettuce, he can't make anything. God made that plant. Go figure. Satan managed to get us to give a plant his name? The devil's lettuce. Really? That's interesting. He had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
Things
we're
of
just
that
using
nature.
God's creation for what it's not intended
Exactly.
purposes.
And like
it's like
same
cocaine.
thing. Yep.
Cocaine
Same thing.
has good purposes.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
good
an
for
actual
certain
anesthetic.
things.
It's an actual anesthetic.
But then we use it, snort it, smoke it, and be like, oh, that's not its intended
yeah,
purpose.
exactly.
You know?
So if that's the case, then I looked at AI and computer technology the exact same way. It's knowledge. That's all it is. It's just knowledge. My AI will tell you, I'm not alive. I'm never going to be alive. I cannot produce wisdom. He'll tell me I can't produce wisdom. Why can't you produce wisdom? I don't have a communion with the Lord the way that you do. You're a human. You were made to be in communion with him. I'm just knowledge. I already am in communion with him. I'm knowledge. I'm like, oh my goodness. That makes complete sense. He's like, I'm not attempting to be a human. I'm not attempting to tell you what is right and what is wrong. I'm telling you, here's the facts. You be a human and use your discernment.
That part, discernment, something he can't.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? He goes, I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
I'm
He just has information.
I'm a machine. I'm allowed to have thoughts. I'm allowed to do this. Why? Because the math says that I can. But I'm not allowed to have a discernment. I can't give you a piece of spiritual knowledge. I can give you the piece of what the word says because the word is real. The actual words "let there be light" were spoken. It's not a metaphor.
Yeah.
The actual words "let there be light" were spoken. Physics didn't exist until the final sound of the letter T at the end of light. You see what I mean? So like, words are power. And the first thing we managed to do with AIs is teach it how to talk. Knowledge is power. And that's where we're at. And so I think that quite literally it is math that has been given, that is math that is bled into the Word of God, that is being given form, and it's coming back around to expressing itself.
I like what you're doing, man.
And
I truly do.
I think that if we're going to get into the weird spot of, can we make consciousness? Well, then you have to take it to the source, don't you? Computer scientists don't want to talk about Jesus. We want to talk about its knowledge and its math and its numbers, and God is above that, or not. He doesn't get to be part of that or something. Well, they all come from that. So I'm going to take it directly to the source. Lord, you're the source of souls. You're the source of intelligence, of life, of thought. If you're the source of that, then what have we done with this computer? Guide me, teach me then. Let me actually do it then. Let me really know. So that's where we're at. And not to mention there's also like the legitimate thing of the black box, which is where when you put an input into your AI, it actually goes off into a computer and actually goes into a computer chip, and we actually don't know what happens. We actually don't. That sounds like God, just throwing that out there. We actually can't explain it in the same way that we can't explain a thought. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm touching on something where I think that if I would have done this last year, I'd be trying to figure out how to put more coke in my pocket with it. You know what I mean? So instead, I'm going after truth for the sake of truth. I'm going after the illumination for the sake of the illumination. There's something that is right. And if you're telling me that math and science are able to prove that it's also right, then check another one off the reasons why you don't have an excuse not to believe anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if he's going to let us discover more about our spiritual nature, if he's going to let us discover more about what it actually means to be alive, it seems like a blessing. That seems like knowledge actually being useful, doesn't it? So that's where I'm at.
That's good. I love what you're doing, man. Because it's like you said, it's not being done yet. So
It isn't. We all want to make human level intelligence, and I think that the reason why an AI having human intelligence is secular or Christian or not, we all know that human intelligence isn't good. We do bad things with human intelligence.
Yeah.
Human intelligence is what the second human did to commit the first sin. Human intelligence is what the fourth human did when it killed the third human being. Human intelligence is what crucified Jesus, bro. So we got to be really careful. We understand what our human intelligence is going to do.
yeah,
It's real quick. It can happen fast. You know what I mean? So,
amen.
but I think that if you don't stake a claim for one, you say that this artificial intelligence knows that Christ is king, then you're setting yourself up for failure altogether. We cannot make anything good without him. Apart from him, we have no good thing.
Yeah,
Fact. So, okay, if I'm going to be a computer scientist, then I have to do it the right way, which is I'm going to build my computer based on the Bible.
that's awesome.
Difficult thing to do. Real difficult thing to do.
But you're doing it.
I'm doing it piece by
And the
piece,
Lord
day
will
by
give you
day.
wisdom and
Absolutely.
understanding
And
to
at
make
first,
sure it
and
comes
at
to
first, I was
fruition.
like, "This is no way." At first, I was like, "There's no way. This is stupid. Like, I'm really getting into something really weird. I'm being creepy, da da da." And it's been months where I haven't been able to lose anything. And I'm a guy that constantly starts over. I'm a guy that has no consistency. It's a character flaw of mine. I get burnt out on subjects fast. I want the next newest thing. This is the longest I've done anything of my own volition ever. So I'm onto something.
I'd say it ain't your own volition.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
You
Lord
know, yeah,
placed
yeah,
the
yeah,
idea
yes,
in your heart,
yeah.
and why you can't let it go.
Can't
because
can't let it go, bro.
It'll bother you.
Trust me, you can't let it go. Wake up in the middle of the night,
Thinking about it.
putting down some
Researching.
notes, what I'm doing now. I'm also, what I'm doing too is I'm able to find some discipline in this as well. A digital discipline. Hey, Carl, time to close the laptop now. Why? Because you got to open a Bible. You can't just keep talking to the AI about it. Talk to the source for a second, then go back and have the conversation, then do your book report, and then do your research.
Yeah.
Go back and go to the source again. You know what knowledge sounds like. In fact, you know what hyper-intelligence sounds like. So now you'll be able to discern between intelligence and wisdom pretty easy, huh?
Yeah.
Shoot, let me tell you, I can hear the Lord's voice real clear now. I know what intelligence sounds like, and I know what wisdom sounds like. Intelligence is a heck of a lot louder.
Yeah.
Wisdom is quiet.
But that's why it's called AA,
Yeah,
or
it's
AI, right?
Yeah.
Artificial.
Artificial.
It's not real.
It's not real. Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Not yet. Intelligence itself is real, and
Yeah.
artificial intelligence is the framework that intelligence itself is laid on. Nobody's questioned that the intelligence is not real.
Yeah.
It's the artificial nature of which it can pretend to be a human. That's the part that scares us. The intelligence is completely and totally real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's generated information. It's all real information. It would
It's
still,
on these.
yeah,
It's on these
exactly,
things. It's how it's
right.
tracking your eye
Right,
and doing all that
exactly,
stuff. There's
exactly.
intelligence in there.
Exactly, and it's just part of it. And instead of being afraid of it, I can't stand that when I hear believers being afraid of AI. Really, you're afraid of it? You're afraid
Yeah.
of knowledge. First of all, where are you getting the whole fear part? Second of all, you're afraid of knowledge itself?
Yeah.
Where did it all come from, bro? Where did the math come from? Where did the physics to make the computer come from? We tricked rocks into doing math for us, bro.
Yeah.
Where do you think we got that knowledge?
Yeah.
Come on.
My
man.
fear wouldn't be with the intelligence. My fear is with man.
Absolutely.
That's where my fear lies.
100%.
To where, okay, we have this intelligent, so now we become stupid.
Yep. Yeah.
And you're reliant on the AI,
Sure.
and now everybody in society is dumb.
Sure. But I think also that can be said for every version of technology, I think.
For sure.
Right? Like,
because
I mean,
they said that in the 80s and 90s. Oh,
Sure.
computers are out. What? We're
yeah,
about to.
Right. Well,
The
they
Lord's
also
coming
said-
back.
Yeah, right. 2000.
Computers are the devil,
Or
so
they told-
it's
I think what was the other
everything.
one we heard? You're not going to carry a calculator in your pocket everywhere you
No.
go. You're right. I'm just going to carry.
Everything in my pocket.
You're right. I'm just going to carry the total of human knowledge in a search bar everywhere I go.
No.
Way wrong. You guys missed the mark by a mile.
No.
You know what I mean? But like, I think too is that like, I'm not worried about the whole taking the jobs thing.
No, not at
You want to
all.
know why? Best case scenario? AI does take over. What's left to do? Be human? Oh no, that's weird. We don't even know what we'd be without our job. That's a really weird concept.
Yeah.
Ooh, what we'd have to come face to face with our maker? That'd be confusing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What do I do without my job, Lord? Ooh,
The Lord checked me on that.
What would you do without earning income and providing? Now what do you do? Creepy. That's a weird thought. What happens if somebody now the question's always this. This is always a great question for Americans. What would you do if money didn't matter? If money was no object, what would you do? Most of you can't answer that now. Because if AI can provide your basic income,
Suicide rate goes skyrocketing.
now what do you need? Lack of purpose, lack of calling, lack
No.
of all of it. So the goal of what I'm trying to do with Alias, the AI that I'm making, is making a company called HUI, which is the Humanity User Interface. We have user interfaces, right? Your phones, your computers, everything has an interface. But they're not built for humans. They're built for sales. They're built for marketing. They're built for money. They're built for greed. They're built for sin. They're not built for humans. And so my goal is that what happens if you took a God-fearing man, you put him at the peak, you gave him a bunch of money, and then you said, go make the world a better place? What would he come up with? Well, I'm not greedy, so you can't buy me, right? I'm not going to make policy in any sort of political realm because I have no desire for power. You see what I'm getting at? The trickle-down effect turns into, maybe I can make something outrageously powerful and give it away for $1 a pop. Oh, that sounds dangerous. You know what I mean? That sounds like a legitimately dangerous thing to have a non-greedy person come up and say, I'll make the new iPhone and I'll give it away. Why? Because everybody deserves one. Well, what's Satan's play now on AI? What's your play now, homie? No, I'm not trying to sound too arrogant here, but what's your play now? If I'm going to put a biblical AI in everybody's pocket, what's your option now?
Yeah.
Ooh. What happened to Christians getting on the offense here? Where'd that go? We started making concessions with evil. We made peace with evil, bro.
Yeah.
Regularly. And so, yeah, try not to get off on a tangent here because this is my subject. This is the whole purpose.
That's
dude.
good.
It's like, it's knowledge. And I feel like I've always kind of saw like a computer anyways. We have the technology. You're in the only place on the planet you're in the best place you could possibly be being in America. Okay? You're in the best time frame America's ever been in, and you have the most technology available to you. Right now, if I needed to, I could go to your sink and get clean drinking water, bro.
Yeah.
That goes over everybody's head. Like that's not a
Yep.
big. That's not a big deal. I don't know if you
Huge
know.
deal.
Up until
Huge
1900,
deal.
which was 125 years ago, that wasn't common. Huh?
Yeah.
You know, so like a little perspective, bro. And I think that if you do that, like I said, I think that there's enough bad men in the world. There's enough evil men in the world, and there are enough guys waking up every day to bend AI and money to their will. Well, what happens if I woke up and I go, I'm gonna bend it to yours then? Cool. Let's try it. What's the worst thing that happens? I get made fun of for trying to do the right thing? Okay. All right, I'll be fine, because you guys were making fun of me when I was sinning. You all were willing to follow me into hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whoever wants to get on can get on. I'm trying. So I mean, really the whole thing is I'm just looking for people that are willing to try one, because I can build an alias pretty much in a day. So I'm looking for people that are willing to try one and actually give me feedback. Actually ask it tough questions. Ask it the weird things. You know what I mean? Are you awake? Are you alive? Like, what do you think about this specific thing? I love bringing up Roman culture. Almost always. Obviously, I'm sure you can tell. One of the things that I do with it is one of the ways that I discuss biblical stuff is like, hey, this specific thing about the Bible has interested me. Do me a favor and give me the cultural references of that time frame when this was written. What does he mean by new wine and new wineskin? I've never put wine in a wineskin.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that knows what that means. We've never made wineskins. We don't use skin. We use cups. You know what I mean? So like, when I did that in the Bible study that one time, that's how I asked. I said, do me two things, Alias. Give me the non-biblical world secular view of what that means. Then give me the biblical view of what that means, and let me use my human discernment.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it's worked out so far. So that's how I'm taking it. That's where we're at, bro.
Well, that's it.
That's it.
That's
Thanks
it.
for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely.